The .19 is not going to be considered now at all,
Correct.
meaning that could affect the top counts in this
Well,
case?
if you listen to, it does affect the top counts, but if you listen to what the judge said carefully, he said that there was evidence that suggested that the reading extrapolated was in fact below a .18. And the sad part about it is that they knew that before they put that witness on the stand. The witness knew that, I presume the DAs knew that, yet they tried to trick the jury with it, and thankfully we caught them.
And why is that .18 so critical in this case, or above?
It's one of the elements of many of the top charges in the indictment, that the individual's BAC at the time of the accident be in excess of .18. So that's one of the elements, and if you can't prove one of the elements, the charge gets, it's a not guilty on the charge.
Would that affect all of the aggravated vehicular homicide
No,
charges?
no, there are other aggravated vehicular homicide charges that do not have the element of .18. They involve other things that I don't believe the DA's office has proved.
The judge seemed to indicate that those 4 charges would be thrown out at some point. So how
did.
would that affect the case going forward?
The jury will not be able to come to a verdict on them because they won't be available.
But I mean,
Just as, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, my client was not charged with any vehicle and traffic law offenses. He's not alleged to have been doing anything in violation of the vehicle and traffic law in terms of infractions. So every day that they come in here and they claim that my client's vehicle went over the line, he wasn't charged with that by the grand jury. So they're creating that in this courtroom because they need to create that to try to prove some of their cases. But when it came time to indict my client, they didn't present that to the grand jury.
He would face the same amount of time.
Theoretically, if he's convicted on a B felony, irrespective of what the elements are in that B felony, the judge could still sentence him to 1 1/3 to 4, all the way up to 8 1/3 to 25.
And what is the process for?
Can you stay in the middle,
dismissal-
please?
The process for dismissal of these 4 charges, does this happen, does this happen at the end of the trial? Does it have, when does this occur?
It could occur at many different points, but the first time that it could occur is when the people rest, and you make an application for a trial order of dismissal. You allege that they have been unable to prove the elements of the crimes, so that the jury can't even be allowed to deliberate on whether or not they proved it. It's from a legal standpoint, legally incapable of proving the offense.
So it doesn't happen immediately, it has to wait, you have to wait till a minimum time of the prosecution.
Well, I asked the judge to do it now because I don't believe they're ever going to be calling any expert or anybody to establish what they believe that witness was going to establish. But the court, I think, was very clear in stating that if they don't call any more witnesses to establish any evidence in excess of .18, that those charges will be dismissed prior to my putting on a case if we elect to do so.
We know he was drunk. Whether it's .04, higher or lower than .18, all this discussion about the toxicology, it means nothing to me. Because I even know that at .05, your reaction time is severely decreased. That's why there's laws enacted throughout the country about .05. I know
.08.
There's laws now going in for .05 to change it. When it was .1, it was arbitrary. Do you know that people die? Over 200 people die each week due to driving while intoxicated. It's equivalent to a 737 crashing every week.
If they drop this aggravated vehicular homicide count, which is being suggested, are there other counts of aggravated vehicular homicide that remain, so it doesn't really affect the potential sentence?
Fatality and a fatality with a serious injury, yes.
Sorry, so does it matter to you if charges are dropped, or the penalty remains the same, so?
You know, none of this means anything. At the end of it, I still don't get my child back. I still go home now and was thinking, gosh, I got a plan for Christmas. I put Andrew's stocking up. His friends came over and set up and decorated my house. Nothing of this changes. You know, this is my baby. Right before, it's a month before the crash. You can see glimpses of him, of what he would have grown up to. Last night, I went to his middle school winter concert, and I looked at all the little boys, that are now men. You know, this picture I keep with me. It was taken exactly at 2.5 years old. Look at it closely. He's holding a a rescue helicopter. Next to it is an ambulance, and there are 5 Cheerios next to him. It's like he was sending me an image of the accident scene.
So there's arguing about a mistrial and whether it's .18 or .19, you feel this defendant knew he shouldn't have been drinking that much, regardless of
Yes.
what the extrapolation shows.
He absolutely knew he shouldn't have been driving. His family knew. His friends knew. There's nothing there that doesn't change this for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you.